Can you tell us why you think it is that the population is, the prison population has doubled over the last 25 years?
Yes, a lot of this is to do with longer sentences. So although the population of Britain has increased much smaller amounts, as you say, the prison population has almost doubled. And that's largely because of longer sentences for violent crime, but also many, many more sex offenders. Nearly a quarter of our prisoners now are sex offenders, many of them older men in for historic sex offences.
And so the Justice Minister was talking about various measures to try and lower the number of people who are in prisons this week. Let's pick up on a couple of them. Shorter sentences with a presumption against anybody being sentenced for 12 months was one of them, which would see people who had committed violent offences not being punished in prison. Is that right?
So he's talking about a presumption against sentences for under 12 months, and there'll have to be exceptions to that. And you're right that people who've committed violent crimes may be one of those exceptions, probably would be. But the key point is this, that many people are going to prison only for a matter of weeks, or even in some cases on recall only for a matter of days. And that's just not long enough to give any chance to really work with someone in terms of educating them and turning their life around. And the statistics demonstrate that sending someone to prison for a very short period makes them more likely to reoffend compared to a community sentence. So it's not good for them, and it's not good for public safety.
But you'll know very well, one of the reasons magistrates are reluctant to use more community sentences is because they don't think they're supervised properly.
Yes, absolutely. And this is something we've heard from magistrates and judges. But we have to be very clear. There are two different things here. One is punishing somebody for committing a crime, and people should be punished for their crimes. But we also have to think about protecting the public in general. Reoffending rates are far too high from short sentences because short sentences seem to be long enough to dislocate the individual, take them away from their home, their family, make it much more difficult for them perhaps to reintegrate into society when they return, but not long enough to do the work in education and employment we need to really turn their lives around. And they're also very disruptive for prisons. One of the reasons why we have a lot of problems in prisons is these people cycling in and out for a few days or weeks at a time. So I strongly agree with the Justice Secretary. If we could massively reduce the number of people who are in there for sentences of under 12 months, it will be good for public safety, good for the individuals, and good for the prison system.